Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming back to the vinyl collection. This is number 4. Been doing this for 4 episodes so far. I'm just a guy who's completely forgotten about everything he has on his record shelves, and during this strange time decided to sit on the floor and just go through it. Except I'm not sitting on the floor and I'm in front of the computer with some buddies. So if you haven't seen the first few episodes, go back and check them out. We started at Z and worked our way back. I think we're starting at the K's today. So it's kind of a slow process. The shows are pretty long. They're like 2 hours, but I guarantee you they're fun times. I was lucky enough to be joined by Matt Bandy on episode 2, and then episode 3, Kevin Buried on Mars came along, and now we have a full vinyl party happening every week, it seems. So this is fun time to sit down and discover with me what's in my record collection, and Big Bandy and Kevin will show you some highlights in their collection as well. They got lots of wild stuff. It's cool to look through it, but hit the subscribe button. You got to hit the subscribe button. That way you know when these live streams will happen, so you can be here live, because we're going to pay attention to the chat. We'll be talking to you guys in the chat, talking to Kevin and Matt, and you got to subscribe for it. What can I say? It doesn't cost you nothing. Just hit the subscribe button. Christ. Anyways, let's get our guests in here right away, because I know that's what you came for. First, let me see here. We got Matt Bandy and we got Kevin Buried on Mars.
Hey,
look at that. All 3 of us.
Thank you for covering my banana bread as I polished it off.
How was your banana bread?
It was excellent.
Sugar-free, right?
No sugar in it. Yeah.
No sugar. Yeah.
That's right.
If you listen to Kevin on his podcast, the Retro Fandango podcast, he talks very much how he is a super diet, eats only the best with 0 sugar, constantly with the 0 sugar.
That's
so
right.
If he mentions a banana bread or anything like that,
There's no sugar
you
in
can
it.
believe it's 0 sugar.
Apparently, I have no idea what's going on in my kitchen, apparently.
And Matt Bandy, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I am sitting on my floor in my room, so
Nice.
Yeah.
So the 2.5 hours on camera here, it starts to get sore after a while. I think.
you know, I got a little back support here, so I took one of my kids' folding floor chairs, and so I'm good to go.
You're doing the happy console gamer
Yeah.
trick. He was the first guy, I think, really to start doing YouTube in front of his game collection, and everyone always thought he had a massive game collection because he'd be sitting and there'd be just shelves behind him of tons of, and then it turned out like 3 or 4 years later, he revealed that he actually sits on the floor, and the shelves only went up so high.
Yeah.
That was an awesome reveal.
Well, that's what I did on our last video here. I did a video on my bootleg collection, my burnt CDs, and I was sitting on the floor for that. It was only about 40 minutes, and that killed me, sitting on the floor that long. No floating chair support like Big Bandy has. So again, thanks everyone for tuning in. It's going to be a good time. I started a record pile here, starting at the K's. We'll work our way back. Kevin and Matt Bandy have some cool stuff to show you. And in the chat, you can welcome Deke Williamson showing up again.
Hey, Deke, good to see you.
How's it going?
It's awesome. Awesome that he shows up.
Like,
he's my
Buried on
hero.
Mars has fans.
No,
It's
Deke is
incredible.
my hero. I'm Deke's fan. He has an awesome blog. I should plug it. I can't remember the name of it.
No,
It's something about it's something about Thunder Bay. What is it? Thunder Bay Arena Rock. Thunder Bay Arena Rock. That's right. That's what it is. Go check that out on WordPress. He does like interviews with the CBC. He's been on the CBC before talking about music. It's crazy.
Well, what else is up in Thunder Bay?
Just Deke, and I think COVID made it up there too. I think it's just Deke and COVID.
What is the CBC?
Canadian Broadcasting Corporation.
What is the CBC?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But you should definitely every band that comes through there too. He goes like backstage. He shakes their hands. He gets them to sign their albums and that. He knows all the guys from Sloan. Every time they come up, they're like, "Hey, Deke," and they sit down and have a drink with him. He's
Jeez.
wild
Maybe
stuff.
Should swap out Gavin for Deke.
Absolutely, man. I'd tune in for that. I would watch. And Sarah would probably watch too. She doesn't watch this, but she'd watch if Deke was on. For sure.
All right. So we started off with something special. So this time, because we were talking about Metallica last time, and I want to show some cred and try to impress Big Bandy a little bit. This is every video is trying to impress Big Bandy, by the way. So it's not a record.
Oh.
It is my very first concert tee right there.
Oh, nice.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
What year was that? The
91?
92? 92.
92. Yeah. And what's interesting is they have it wrong on here because of what happened
In Montreal?
in Montreal. No good with this camera.
You saw them in Toronto?
Yeah, I saw them in Toronto. So this says they play Toronto directly after Montreal. Of course, that didn't happen because of the accident, the pyro accident.
Yeah.
And they had to cancel Toronto and a bunch of dates after that, and they stuck Toronto on in September. So we got to keep our tickets.
James Hetfield got burnt during a pyrotechnic accident, right? And then was it the Guns N' Roses? They said, well, maybe we'll get Guns N' Roses come on early, and then Axl refuses to come on early, so then everyone in Montreal rioted.
No.
Yeah,
Is that what happened?
I think there was a riot, wasn't there?
Well, he did get on, and he did, I think, a couple numbers, and then he complained his throat was hurting, and he left.
Okay.
And they tried to continue without him, and then they quit after that, after a song maybe, and then. Yeah, in Montreal, we don't piss around, okay? If you're gonna half us around, we're gonna burn the city down.
Sure, pay out like extra tax dollars. Like it's coming out of your pocket, right? That's really going to show the band when you toss your police cars around. Makes sense.
Yeah. So that was wild, yeah. And then, but they did come back and redo the Toronto date, so that was good. That was my first big stadium show at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto.
So I noticed on the back of that shirt,
and the shirt does not fit.
The back of that shirt also said "Faith No More." Did you see them as well? Did they play that show too?
Yeah, they opened. Yeah,
nice.
They opened, then Metallica, then Guns N' Roses. So that was a big one. That was a big concert. All right, so we left off last week at the K's. Oh, by the way, in case anyone who's watching who watched the last couple episodes, there won't be any secondary ISO cams in this episode. Bandwidth. We hope to have a more cleaner show this time without the secondary cameras. So Deke says he saw the Metallica show in Minneapolis. His date got moved as well. Then when they did play, he had this huge bandage, arm length, and I think he did not play guitar at all.
Yeah, there was one of their roadie guys that filled in for him. He sang, but he didn't play guitar.
Yeah. Okay, so for the K's, solo layout, so you can see here the Kinks' greatest hits. I love the Kinks, Ray Davies and his brother. This one's in mono, Pi Records. It's a weird one, though. I wish someone had looked this up for me and tell me if this one's worth anything. It is in mono. Allied Records from Toronto. Manufactured. Not too shabby. King's Greatest Hits, licensed by Pi Limited. Licensed to the Allied Records coming out of Toronto, I guess. And that's got to be an original pressing by the looks of it. Yeah, Allied Records Corporation, Toronto, Montreal, printed in Canada. I wonder if there's an American version of this one with this kind of artwork. Deke Williamson says Metallica had a dude from Metal Church, John Marshall.
That must have been the guy who filled in on guitar.
Yeah. I thought he was a guitar tech that filled in, but maybe the same thing.
Hey, Deke would know.
Deke would know. Another Kinks, another Greatest Hits. You Really Got Me on there. Lola, of course. This one, that first one was from Allied Records in Canada. This one's from Phonodisc out of Scarborough, out of the Scarb. In Canada, we love licensing from other labels. Well, that one's in really good shape. This is the original thing here says marble. And then this is PRT.
Is that a different track listing than the other greatest hits you have there?
Well, it has a couple common ones, but it is different. Yeah. Yeah, it's a different list, but a couple of them are the same, of course, because the Kinks got their big hits there.
Yeah, the Kinks were always bigger on the other side of the pond. I found like there seems to be bigger fans of the Kinks. Like here, they just sort of the greatest hits, the well-known ones. You know.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear that story about how he got that distortion in his guitar? How he got that sound?
Yeah, he the one that ripped the speakers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to get that like distortion and that it was such a for that time it's a heavy raw sound. And yeah.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. In that band documentary, they talked about how people were wondering how Robbie Robertson got his sound, and they were thinking that he had ripped his amp to get his sound. Okay, I'm going to plow along in the K's a little bit further because you can't hold this back.
That's one of Deke's favorite bands, if not his favorite band.
Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You can't hold back the love gun right there.
I'm shocked you have this in your collection. Shocked, actually.
Well, I didn't listen to it, but I have it. You can't beat the artwork.
Iron Maiden might be able to beat that artwork. Do you just have it? You're not planning on listening to it? I would say that's one you can thin the collection.
No. Love Gun's a good track.
Love Gun is a good track.
Now it's coming out. I had no idea you were such a Kiss fan. No idea.
I'm not a huge Kiss fan, but
in the closet, eh?
Love Gun, you can groove to Love Gun.
Maybe
sure.
You can. I'm sure you can.
I can back you up on that, Bill. I do like. I don't like Kiss, but I do like Love Gun, and a couple other tracks are okay. But Love Gun's a cool song.
Has it got Cold Gin? I like Cold Gin. That's a pretty good song. That's about it.
No. It's got Love Gun. Produced and engineered by Eddie Kramer.
Yeah, that's Hendrix guy. Oh, look at this! You got a full collection there.
A full collection.
You're like Scott Ian from Anthrax. You got the tattoos. If you lift up those sleeves, you're gonna find the Kiss tattoos. Look at this guy.
You gotta love. It looks cool, man. The artwork is very cool.
I remember J-Rock would come over to your place and you would just kill him on the Kiss. Like you just trash him, and he'd go home crying. And here you are. You've been a closet fan the whole time.
You know, the Love Gun, I could have swore that was gatefold and it opened up into a big, huge mural. What album is that I'm thinking of?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
Their live ones were always gatefold, I think.
Well, Duke just tuned in for his favorite band, Kiss. Again with Casablanca Records.
You're going to be pulling out some Dave Matthews, I'm sure, very soon.
Oh,
you pulled out Kiss. Anything's possible.
This has the budget copy cutout in it. They're in really good shape, though. Whoever had these before me definitely never played them.
They do look nice.
But yeah, come on, look at that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good eBay fodder right there.
Okay. That someone else can go because I know you just blew your minds with the Kiss thing. So,
yeah.
What do you got, Matt Bandy?
Okay, I'll start off with a a Canadian band for you guys. This is a band from Toronto, a fairly new band. They have just released their second. Oh, it's an EP. It's not a full length, but it's a band called Smolder, and they play a blend of traditional heavy metal mixed with some doom and it's a female vocals. It's a great band. They've been getting a little bit of buzz lately, but gotta love the Michael Whelan artwork on the cover here. He's a pretty famous fantasy artist. He didn't draw. This wasn't specifically for this album cover. This is a licensed painting, but he has done some other quite a few other metal bands he's done, and it came with a huge poster.
Wow.
Yeah. But if you guys trying to think of some bands I might compare them to.
When I see that artwork, I usually think of the more melodic metal bands.
Yeah, it's they do. The vocals are all clean vocals. Really kind of haunting vocals. She's got some. Her name's Sarah, the lead singer. She's her vocal range, and she's got a great voice and just huge pipes on her. And this is their latest record that just came out a few weeks ago. But this collects their the Dream Quest EP as well as their demo that they released 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. This one also came with another huge Wellenkamp poster.
And you got that at your record store, or did you have to send away for that?
No, this I ordered directly from the band.
Oh,
yeah, a lot of my record. I'm sorry.
Where are they getting it manufactured from?
This label is I believe it's an Italian label called Cruz del Sur, which they release a lot of epic heavy metal, traditional heavy metal type stuff. But I think it's an Italian label. But yeah, I'd highly recommend this band. So yeah, new up and coming band from Toronto. I tell you, you guys, Canada has a ton of good heavy metal bands. It's and no shortage there.
Of course.
There we go.
What am I doing it right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
It looks right to me. That's just about right.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It's yellow. I like it.
Yeah. Now I can run with the boys.
There you go.
Yeah. When's Kevin going to put his on?
I don't have one. And I don't think I've ever worn a bandana in my life. Not out of choice. It's never come across. Or I'm like, hey, I need a bandana.
It's very liberating. You should try it.
So I see Duke is asking if I have the Willow soundtrack on vinyl. And Duke, that has actually been on my list for quite a while. I've just been looking for it in different record shops, but I've never come across it. I'm sure I could pick it up from Discogs. I've seen copies on there, but that's, obviously we know I love that soundtrack, and I don't have it, but that's on my want list.
Yeah, I actually enjoy collecting 80s soundtracks because they're usually very cheap. Mm-hmm. And you can find songs on it that never been released anywhere else. Or if they have been released, they're on compilations or whatever. So, yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
And Deke did clear it up that the Kiss album with the huge mural in the gatefold is double platinum, which, how did I know that? I don't know. Maybe we'll see that on other episodes. Yeah. I don't know.
Got some double platinum coming up, eh? This guy, huge Kiss fan. Who knew?
Who knew? So Matt Bandy did one. Kevin, you want to do one?
Sure. Man, I got everything I got here kind of relates to what people were talking about. Well, let's go with this one. So the only really for me the only Guns N' Roses album, although I do like half of that that one that's kind of live half. I can't remember the name of it now.
Spaghetti Incident?
No, not that one. No, there's one where they did it was like a fake live half and then like an acoustic side two. Damn it, what the hell is the name of that album? It doesn't matter. Anyways, the real album to get, though, the one that I really appreciate is Appetite for Destrucciones.
That's a glossy cover there. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this was like a special edition that came out. So it's got the traditional cover on the front, and that's Lies EP. See, Deke knows. And then on the inside is the original cover, the band one. Like this was the one that they originally wanted to go with.
Oh, was that originally supposed to be the front cover?
Well, that's the story, anyways. But it had the booby, the booby on there, and the lady in the compromised positions.
Cool. So, is that a single booby?
Just one hanging out there.
Yeah.
But the bad guy is like looking to creep in on her, so it was frowned upon. But this is a really nice version of it. It's on two. The gatefold in there with the dudes in there before they became totally douchey. Axl has kind of redeemed himself, I think, over the years. Even totally. Slash is willing to hang out with him. I mean, when he did filled in for Brian Johnson, he was a total professional. So, but this is it's done over. It's actually like 3 sides. There's like a third side with or fourth side with nothing on it. And they did that because they wanted to, like make the grooves a little bigger so you get a little better quality kind of thing. Like a lot of those KTEL records, you got a lot of songs in them, but the quality wasn't that great because they would jam like 20 songs on each side, right? So very thin grooves. But yeah, it's got nice inserts with all your lyrics and all that stuff. The vinyl is just black, but I think. Yeah, and the blank side that's not the one with the blank side. I don't think the blank side. Sometimes they put like nice little grooves in there, but I don't. Yeah, they did do something. It's just a messy groove in there. Nothing crazy, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Little insert in there. So I think I got this one on Music Vaults, which is another online outlet in Canada. They do a lot of their some of their own pressings as well, and around Black Friday they always have a sale, like everything in the store, like 40% off or whatever. So you can get some pretty good deals there because they do their own pressings, which you can get some deals on. Like they do all the Tragically Hip albums here in Canada, and then you get stuff like this, like the Guns N' Roses collection here. So
why I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Music Vaults. It's like with a Z. Music Vaults with a Z at the end. All of our Tragically Hip albums is pressed by them. Like they're reissues, recent reissues, but a lot of that stuff is hard to find, right?
You mentioned KTEL. Did that get down to the States? KTEL. Of course, every Canadian knows about KTEL.
I'm not familiar with it now. KTEL.
Well, really? Sorry. Holy. KTEL, man. There was KTEL ads on every Saturday morning cartoon you watched, every afternoon show. KTEL records. They would like do compilation discs where they would just be a bunch of top 40 hits on them. And there was 2 ways you can get them. They would advertise a lot on TV, and you buy them on TV. And my grandmother had a ton of them from back in the day. I wish I would have known beforehand when they got rid of all of them, because I would have loved to flip through all those. But you would actually go to the grocery store, and every time you bought groceries, you would build up. They would give you like these tickets. It was kind of like building up points. And after you had so many tickets, you could bring them in, and you can trade them in for. They would have like cheap.
dinnerware sets, cookingware sets, and that. But they also had K-Tel records. And my grandmother would just load up on K-Tel records. She thought that was the greatest because she loved like, you know, ABBA and whatever the hits from the 70s were, and you know, you'd get your hits on there. But like, it would be like, you know, a song would be like that big on there. It would just be crammed full of tunes on one side. So you know, the pressing wasn't very high quality.
Yeah, they licensed from everybody and pumped out discs.
Yeah, and I think in Canada they could get better deals because nobody really owned the rights to a lot of them. They could just go in, and whereas in the States you'd have to make deals with all the different record companies, whereas in Canada they're like, hey, if you want this music distributed in Canada, you have to come to us and then we can distribute it for you. So
I remember as a kid seeing a bunch of like commercials for compilation, like it was almost like an infomercial where they'd play little clips from the songs and you'd see the list of tracks that would be on it. And
yeah,
it was kind of like similar to those Time Life books where they would, you know, sell those or have infomercials for that. But I remember seeing stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Time Life Music presents the 60s.
Yeah.
5 discs.
Right.
Yeah.
Duke says Appetite was a huge pivotal album from his adolescence when he was 12. So there you go.
12. Well, this came out in 87. No,
Oh.
Joe's still older than you, Duke. Nice try though.
Go ahead, Kevin. Keep
Another
moving.
one. Okay. Well, this was a cool. Is it okay if it's a 45? I don't know if 45s are allowed on here.
The first 45 of the show.
I picked this up last record store day, and it was a nice little compilation of Motorhead. Nice. 2 of their early hits, Overkill and Bomber. And I've never played them because when I picked them up, and you know, I was like, okay, these are going to be cool. I'll play these. I opened it up. I had no idea that they're actually picture discs inside.
Yeah.
Whoa!
And they looked like they're just way too nice. I can't put a needle on this. So they're pictured on both sides. So that's the Overkill cover, and then you got the dudes on the back. It even has like, this is like the original, like the 45, like Too Late was the B side. So they're kind of like reissues of those singles, but just picture discs. And the Bomber. Trying to be careful and quick at the same time. Kind of reminds me of last night. So there's the Bomber. Oh, and nothing on that side. Yeah. I was alone last night, by the way. By myself. All right. Another one, or is that good?
Oh, good. If you got one teed up, go ahead.
I got tons, man. I could go all night.
You're gonna make Big Bandy jealous. He only got to do one.
I think he did 2. I did
2. Yeah.
Oh, well, sorry.
Well, this is an album that I picked up not too long ago, before the whole COVID thing in the spring. It's one I've been wanting for a long time, and it's Alice Cooper, Killer. This to me is the Alice Cooper album to get. The side 1 on this is just awesome track after awesome track.
What year is that from, Kevin?
72, I think. Okay. 71, sorry. But yeah, like side 1 is Under My Wheels. Be My Lover. It's a fantastic song. Halo of Flies, which is a great album track. And then Desperado, which is like one of my favorite songs. And then the B-side's pretty decent too. But it's just weird. Nothing on that side. But get that on there. So I've been wanting that for a while. It's got the 180 gram. And I think it's just a black record. Yeah. But yeah,
I'm a $1 billion babies kind of guy myself.
$1 billion babies is a good one too. That's on my list to get as well. And then the what's the black and white one? I think
cover of the band on it.
Yeah, I think it came out before this one. Like those 3 are the ones that are all my must get that I would pay like, you know, $20 to $25 for. I do have more Alice Cooper, but I found them, you know, in the cheap bins for $5 or whatever.
Yeah, you got to be careful with him. Like even he admits there's 3 or 4 recordings that he does not remember making.
Yeah, those are the cheap ones. I think I got like he was heavy into the booze there in the early '80s, and to me they're not bad. They're good. It's good rock and roll. It's just not up to the quality of his other albums. So for me, if you find it for $5, I think it's worth it.
Okay. Well, I might as well keep trucking on the K's here. Another female artist in the K's. Any guesses?
Katie Lang.
Oh,
You got a concentrating. Oh yeah, I got that one. I have that one.
Carole King.
I saw that one in the theater.
You saw it. Well, if you're gonna have a Carole, this is the one to get for sure. This is look at that. Nice big gatefold.
Yeah.
Her and JT were going mad at it together for a while.
I actually went to see that Carole King play in Toronto.
Did you?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. And I actually went to see it with my parents. And after the show, I went to the record store and I bought a copy of that for myself and a copy of it for my mom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And but the show was
really good. I'm not a big musical guy. I usually generally hate them.
Yeah, it'd be awful.
But anything that's about music, it seems to work. The music genre seems to fit very well. Because she wrote. It's not just her stuff, right? It's all the stuff that she wrote, like those kind of Motown 60s pop hits that she wrote. Like she wrote for tons and tons of bands.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Since she was 16. She was 16 on her own, and really interesting story. And it was her and her husband was her writing partner, and she struggled with because they were having issues, but they were writing hits. Do you want to break up? And it was a really good story. It was that one in Jersey Boys. I really enjoyed them both, but it's got to be about music though when it comes to musicals. If it's some lady singing in the Swiss Alps, kind of about Nazis, it kind of loses me.
Well, there's a Bob Dylan musical on Broadway right now, but I just couldn't consider Broadwayizing his tracks and me liking it, so I'm staying away from that.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
So yeah, here's the vinyl. You Got a Friend. Everyone knows that, of course. What's the other big one on here? Way Over Yonder. I don't know, but there was no sleeve in here. But I have an extra sleeve from the trash pile. So
that was the Kiss albums. You took them out of there?
And I looked on Amazon as per your advice about buying some sleeves. Yep. So I wish listed it up, and when they go on sale, we'll have to do that. Or if someone wants to subscribe to my wish list and donate, just let me know. Let me know.
You and Eric the actor.
Yo, what was with that? What are you talking about?
Oh my goodness, that episode.
Was it about the audio quality or Joe's camera angle?
Both. The whole thing. Where's Joe? Hopefully he comes back.
Oh, that's because I was using my phone trying to raise him on the phone. Can't help it. Got another Carole King here. Spaceship Races. Let's make this big. No Easy Way Down. Child of Mine. Look, she looks like Joan Baez on the back there. I like that cover. A splash of color. This is in stereo. It's got a record sleeve in it. That's good. Same record label, Ode Records. Looks pretty good. Not too shabby. And I'll continue with a K. Kansas? Got some Kansas in my collection. Well, I do love the Carry On Wayward Son.
I actually just picked that up at one of the record shows.
Magnum Opus. I wonder if it is their Magnum Opus. Produced by Jeff Glixman, manufactured in Canada. It's got the lyrics on there.
Look at that mustache.
Yeah. Very Neil Peart-esque.
Oh, yeah. Handlebars?
That's nice. I don't know about that fringe cut there, though.
They were a good band.
Oh, that vinyl's in great shape.
There you go.
Columbia Records.
You should spin that tonight. It's good times.
Really?
Oh, they're a good prog rock band.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Or
more
Spin
pop.
Kiss, whatever you want.
They're a poppier side of prog rock, when you say.
The one song is that "Carry On the Wayward Son" is.
Okay. All right. Big Bandy.
Let me give you a little nugget of trivia about Columbia Records. So where I live in California, where I work, Santa Maria, California is the name of the city. Columbia Records used to have a pressing plant there. And I've had a few patients over the years who used to work at the pressing plant for Columbia Records. So when I first started hunting records here in the area, I would just come upon just huge collections of all these Columbia records, and come to find out that the reason why I would always find a lot of stuff on that label because there was a pressing plant in the town here.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to show a couple records here in one side project from one of the big five. Care to wager a guess on who I'm going to show here?
Big
Side-
Five.
The big four.
Okay.
Like the Beatles' Big Four?
No, the big four thrash metal bands.
That's not the Beatles at all.
So this is a side project by one of the big four?
Well, one of the records here I'm going to show is a side project of one of the big four here. But I'm going to show, to me, my favorite of the big four it will always be Slayer. But my second favorite band of the big four is Anthrax.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's
Yeah,
the one
and
that-
to me, yeah, this is definitely their best release. This was their third record. This came out in 1987. But yeah, this album's great. So if you've never really listened to Anthrax and you want to get a good idea of at their peak what they sounded like, this album is the one to go. And to me, like Anthrax, I always kind of gravitated to them because they were a little bit more. They seemed like more real guys, a little more down to earth, not so serious as the other band. Slayer was, obviously had the kind of more of the evil vibe going. Anthrax is a little more fun, I think, out of those four bands.
Well, that album's titled "Among the Living," and that song is about Stephen King's "The Stand."
Yeah, a lot of people think that that's kind of what the cover here, or
that's the Man in Black.
Yeah, or I've heard one of the guys from the Poltergeist 2. He kind of looks like that guy too. But yeah, The Stand, I've heard that too. There's a lot of different like pop culture references on this. With they have a song called "I'm the Law" that's about the Judge Dredd. Yeah, but yeah, this album is great.
Now, I've always been partial to the John Bush years myself.
What's funny is that's where I actually started. Sound of White Noise was my first Anthrax record that I got, and so yeah, I do like that record just because it was my first Anthrax record.
Yeah, but that one's that's a classic.
Yeah,
that one and the one that came before it with the guy on the
spreading the disease.
Yeah, that's another
disease.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's another great one too.
So the album that
That's
immediately
another good one.
the album that immediately followed Among the Living was State of Euphoria, which came out the year after that. This one is it's good. It's definitely not as good as any of the previous records, or this is probably the weakest of the Belladonna records, which is the second singer. They had their first album was
Right,
called
yeah.
Fistful of Metal,
Yeah.
which had a different singer on that. But yeah, this one has some good tracks on it as well. But they got I believe that's the Mad Magazine
Yep.
illustrator. I'm not sure what the guy's name is.
I think
Drucker.
he just passed away too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I always felt that one was a little bit underrated myself. I liked it better than was it Presence in Time? I never even bought that one.
You know, that for years I didn't know that song off that Presence of Time was a Joe Jackson cover.
Ticking in My Head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a Antisocial is a great track off of this. But I mean, there's some good standout tracks, but as a whole, it's doesn't hold up as to the other ones. And I got one more here for you.
A lot of bandana hijinks happening on Bill's camera there.
What are you talking about?
Bandana hijinks.
Pay attention.
So the side project band that Scott Ian and Charlie, the drummer from Anthrax, were in was a band called Stormtroopers of Death. And the name of this record is called Speak English or Die. This is more of a crossover thrash record than just a straight thrash metal. So this has a lot more punk rock influences, which Ian was a huge fan of a lot of the New York and DC punk rock and hardcore bands. So this is a lot of the songs that they wouldn't use for Anthrax would come and be like a Stormtroopers of Death song. And the bass player was another guy that played in a ton of different metal bands and punk rock bands in the New York area. What was his name? Dan Leaker, I think his name was, but he played in another great thrash metal band called Nuclear Assault. But this is a repress that came out in 2004, I think, on red clear vinyl.
SOD, right? I remember that. SOD, right?
Yeah, Stormtroopers of Death. The lead singer Billy Milano also had another band called MOD, which I don't know what that stands for. But yeah, this is a lot of the songs on here are very comical, and they're short songs. And there's not a song that's over 2.5 minutes long on this. And the shortest song on here is on the B side, is a track called Diamonds and Rust, and if you can see there, it's 2 seconds long.
Oh yeah.
And there's a couple other songs that are sub 30 seconds.
Diamonds and Rust is a huge Joan Baez tune.
No, it's a Judas Priest tune.
Yes. No, it is not.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but it's not.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So if you guys ever watched Headbangers Ball back in the 90s and 80s on MTV, they used the March of the SOD, which is a track off of this, as some of their intro to the show. But yeah, had this record come out now, it probably would be frowned upon by a lot of the subject matter that they sing about. But you know, this was never meant to be a record that was taken serious. It was all very kind of tongue in cheek and just a joke. But the songs are good, so it's a fun record. And when I first heard this, this was kind of my introduction to crossover thrash, where it kind of up until then I listened to punk rock and heavy metal, and then it kind of this was a a mix of the two, and I thought it was a good combination.
We didn't have MTV here in Canada. We had Much Music.
You had Much Music, yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't have Headbangers Ball. We had the Pepsi Power Hour. But unfortunately, by the time my parents got a VCR that could actually tune into the channel, because Much Music was a little higher up on the dial, they cut the Power Hour down to a half an hour. Grunge was taking over big time.
Yeah, I didn't get it at all. Couldn't pull that over the aerial.
No. You need cable.
So I'd have to get my friends to tape stuff if I knew stuff was coming on, but it was so hard to find out if stuff was coming on. So be like, I think there's an AC/DC special coming up this week sometime. Here's a tape, record it.
Yeah.
Never happened. So Anthrax and Stormtroopers of Death. My next K is gonna just work with that so well. Kevin, you wanna fit something in anyways?
Well, like I said, I pulled stuff that kind of fits with what everybody's been talking about, and I got here Kansas Left Overture. Yeah, very good. It's got Carry On My Wayward Son.
Holy,
and Magnum
timely.
Yeah, look at that. Told you, I just picked it up, and I was like, maybe I'll talk about that. Forgot you were in the K's though. So, this is a band with a female singer from Toronto as well. They came out in the 80s, and they're called Headpins. They're like a bit of a hard rock band, but she's got a little more commercial voice than Brian Johnson does, but it's still really good rock and stuff. Came out in the 80s, so it's very 80s. And I just love this cover. I do like the covers with all the tons of artwork and everything, but I like the simplistic stuff. It's as well. It's just the Marshall amp look to it, and it's just some good rockin' tunes on there, and you can pick this up dirt cheap at a record show or whatever, especially here in Canada. I think I paid like $5 for it, so but it's a good rockin' album.
Like vintage rock kind of sound.
Yeah, like 4/4 rock. Their biggest song on this one was "Don't It Make You Feel," which probably doesn't mean anything to you, but as soon as you hear it, you'll know that they play it on the classic rock stations all the time. Here's a Big Four album as well. This is a
Megadeth.
Yeah, you got it. It's a Megadeth album. It is a reissue of their first album.
Oh, nice.
What the heck's it called? Not Peace Cells.
Uh,
No, it was late. I can do this. It's Killing Is My Business and Business is Good because it's not written on the back. So when this originally came out, Dave Mustaine was just kicked out of Metallica, and he wanted to get an album out as quickly as possible, because he wanted to show Metallica that he was, just as good as them or whatever. And, so he just kind of signed the record contract, got the album out, and the quality was never there for that album. So in 2018, he went back and he remastered the whole thing. I think he even re-recorded some parts in that, but it's really good, solid sounding album. Then I was never a fan of the original recording. I always skipped that album. I was like, that one's not really for me, except for a couple tracks on it. But listening to it now, and like when he would do them live, they would always sound great. So now there's like a really good version of this album. He totally redid the cover and everything too. So yeah, this is a good one.
Nice. What was the name of his version of the Four Horsemen?
The Mechanics.
Oh, Mechanics.
Yeah. So it's pretty much the exact same structure and riffs and everything, but just his own lyrics, and then the melody was a little bit different. And then just to stick with some metal just for a little bit, I picked up Ozzy's latest album.
Okay.
Ordinary Man.
Have you had a chance to listen to that yet?
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was good. Some of the lyrics are really cheesy. I think there was one where he was like, he wants to defecate on you or something like that. We got a good laugh out of it. It's kind of tongue in cheek. I mean, he's literally taking the piss on the back cover. So I think this might be his last album. Who knows?
Yeah.
It very well could be, and he's just having fun with it. The only one that song I didn't care for, he did the one with Post Malone.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure who the heck that is. He's some sort of rapper guy, but I didn't really care for that one. But the rest of it was good. And
Who was writing those songs and who's playing guitar on that? Is Zach Wild isn't playing for him still, is he?
No, it wasn't Zach Wild. I can't remember his name. I didn't know I was going to be tested. There, he is definitely working with bunch of different writers for every song. Oh yeah, Duff is on this album from Guns N' Roses.
Really?
Yeah, Duff plays a lot of the bass tracks in that. The heck's his name? It's John Osborne, Andrew Whitman, Chad Smith, Duff McKeon.
Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, that guy?
Yeah, must be. I mean, he get writers from all over the place. He thanks Zach Wild, so he might have done a solo or two. Yeah. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's pretty good. I know a lot of people out there didn't really care for it, and they said, "Well, you'll never listen to it in 2 or 3 months," and maybe I won't. I don't know, but we'll see in 2 or 3 months. But
I thought I heard good reviews about it.
Well, I think it got good press reviews, but just from the people that I know that write blogs and stuff like that. Except for Deke. Deke liked it. So
Post Malone is that dude who tattooed his face all up. He's got the face tattoos, and he's more hip hoppy stuff that he released. But if you go and like check out some YouTube clips of him and his guitar, he is a master at guitar.
Oh yeah,
a master. Yeah,
I don't know who he is at all.
Oh well, let me tell you. What was the Big Four? Is that what we call that?
Big Four. Yeah,
the Big Four. Yeah. This guy was probably a member of the Big Four he probably started the whole thing. Now that I'm in the K's here and we're talking about Big Four, I don't know if everyone remembers when he started.
I was going to guess that. I knew you'd have that.
Was he one of the Highwaymen? Were they Big Four?
Yeah, he was in the Highwaymen, wasn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
So there you go. There's your Big Four right there.
Yeah. Silver Tongue Devil and I, Jody and the Kid. There's the back. Kevin, didn't you recently watch a movie that he was in, the Alice's Diner movie?
Yep. That's a good movie.
Excellent movie.
Wasn't he? Who was he with? Was it Streisand for a while, or who was he?
With
like he was hooked up there for a while. Wasn't he like a coxman?
Oh yes, yes, that's for sure. This needs a sleeve, unfortunately, but the vinyl's holding up pretty good. This is on Monument Record Co. Division of CBS Records.
Deke is saying Andrew is the guy who did the guitar on the Ozzy album.
Okay.
Forgot to mention there's an Elton John track on it too.
I did hear about that. I haven't heard it, but
it's good.
About that.
Same Old Song, Broken Freedom Song, Shandy, Star Spangled Bummer is on this one. So that's good. Chris Christopherson, he was working at Columbia Records, sweeping up the cigarette butts on the floor when Bob Dylan was recording Blonde on Blonde.
Zach Wild has a lot of credits on here to my band. Zach Wild.
Hey, you're supposed to be paying attention to Chris Christopherson right now.
I've left. I zoned out at the Chris.
Come on. That guy's seen it all. He delivered the lyrics to Sunday Morning Coming Down to Johnny Cash's estate from a helicopter, landed right there in the backyard.
He has mad respect for me. Mad respect. I couldn't tell you a song he does though. I know Waylon. I know Waylon. I know Merle. I know Johnny. I know Willie. But Christopherson. I don't know what he does.
Well, he wrote Sunday Morning Coming Down. He wrote Janice's huge hit.
Oh, that's
Me
right.
and Bobby
that's
McGee.
Right. That's right. He's living off the royalties of that. There you go. That's a good one.
Don't break the glass.
That's right.
Look at that. And he did. And then he looked through it.
Let me tell you, now is the time to get your Billy Joel LPs because they are all over the place. He sold a ton of them. You can pick them up dirt cheap. Get them now before he keels over and they all shoot up to 25 and up.
All for Lena's on this one. Through the Long Night.
And they're just great albums to put on a Sunday morning, sipping your coffee, sit back, listen to some Joel.
You know who's a big Billy Joel fan is my friend Curtis Friesel.
Really?
Huge Billy Joel fan.
Didn't we hear him sing some karaoke to Billy Joel?
That's right. Singing is if you use that word liberally, then you could say that, sure.
Yeah. This is Family Productions from Columbia Records. Interesting. Yeah, I like Billy Joel, but the later stuff is, I really like it when he had long hair. Of course, this has got moving out on it. And he's got hair here like that. So that means it's good.
I'm telling you, the only bad Billy Joel album was that last one he did, that River of Dreams. That one the rest of them are great.
Was that the last record he put out?
Yeah.
Dang, that was what?
90s, early 90s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And even that one's not that bad. It's just not worth getting. But yeah, he had a cool tight band with him too.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see that documentary with his drummer? I think it's good times.
Where what? He's with his drummer?
His drummer did a documentary about, well, I don't know if his drummer, someone did a documentary on his drummer, the guy who was with him for forever and did like tons and tons of songs with him. And he never got any writing credits or anything like that. Even though he claims like he was all part of the arrangements for a lot of the tunes, like Billy would come in with a song and it wasn't working. And, he'd be the guy, I'm going to try it with this beat. Let me try it with this beat. And he'd start off with that. And then it would change the entire dynamic of the song. This is all according to him. But it was a great documentary. I don't remember what it was called.
Well, there's an awesome concert of his on YouTube.
Hired Gun. That's the one. See, Deke knows everything.
Wow. He's on top
of it. Like Hired Gun. Yeah, that was a great one. It wasn't just about him. It was about all those studio musicians and that. They talked about Alice Cooper, how those band members want to get into to play with Alice Cooper all the time.
Yeah, I think I saw that on Amazon or something, right?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's great. I want to watch it again now.
I'm going to put that on my list. Okay. Is Kevin done? Okay. Right. Get this up for you guys.
Oh, nice.
I guess we're into the J's now, right? We got Billy Joel, a little bit of Tull, Reprise Records.
Yeah, I do want that one.
Yeah,
a Chrysalis production. This is when they poisoned all those dogs. They got into trouble for a little while, but not like nowadays. If you did that nowadays, forget about it. Big old gatefold there. Uh-oh, no slip cover. It's in good shape, though.
Call the police right now.
What is that?
Is that a big...
Is that hair?
That's a hair. That's a hair.
You're lucky. Dodge the bullet there.
Don't worry. It's just hair. Continuing with the J's here.
Nice. Another good one. Every time I see that, that's a copy is just always roached big time.
Or people doodle all over the newsprint.
Yeah. Underline, highlight things.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they're studying. Another. Oh, there's lots to look at here. I wish I had my overhead cam. Have you guys been inside this album before?
Mm-mm.
I had a copy of that years ago, and I don't know where it is, but mine was not a gatefold.
So it's got this fold out here,
That's wild.
and there's a newspaper in here. If I can, or it. Okay, it's bound inside. This newspaper folds down, and there's lots of good articles in here.
Jeez.
It's got they get the whole thing
My
going.
goodness.
They got ads. I guess this part comes out. I'm surprised this is so intact. Get the some legs.
And you know that someone sat there and read that over and over again. Oh, and probably did the crossword.
Oh, funny.
Filled that out.
Yeah, look at that's not done. Classifieds.
That was wild. That one might be a collector's item in that condition.
Yeah, I've never seen that before, and I've come across that record a bunch, but I've never seen that version.
Then that's the back of the thing. Yeah, not after I destroy it. Looking through it right now.
It's losing value with every crease.
Is there a record in here? That's what I'm wondering.
Maybe not. You just got the newspaper version.
Okay, yep, there's a record, and it has a sleeve.
Oh,
It's
nice.
it's a crappy one that's stuck in there, so
Yeah.
I don't want to. Wow, very cool. That's like one big band right there,
Mm.
and the other one's one big band.
Yeah, it was just one. It was one long track, essentially, but it was like broken up into different pieces.
Right. Like
Yeah.
the entire song was thick as a brick, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just one song.
It's like Big Bandy, right there. Oh Jesus! Let me drop it.
Yeah, for years, like they would play like the radio edit of that, and you missed like the greatest, like the best froggy parts of the song. And I remember the first time I heard the full version, it kind of blew my mind.
Well, that's probably what I should be throwing on tonight instead of Kansas.
Can't go wrong with either.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I just picked that one up too.
Again, from Reprise, Chrysalis Productions. Big old art in there. You got a sleeve. Yeah, this has seen some use. It's seen some plays, that's for sure. Oof. Looks like it's been sprayed with something too, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know if spiders go in there, have a good time or something. But I do see that on records sometimes. I don't know what that's about.
So that's it for the Jethro Tull from me. Did I impress you guys?
Very impressed. Yes.
Oh yeah. All right. Did I impress Big Bandy?
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right, sir. Do you want to take over?
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to kind of switch it up a little bit here. Got a couple of rock and roll albums here. The blues-based rock and roll stuff.
Love it.
So this band I came across and bought on a whim without ever hearing them at my local record shop a couple years ago, and was pleasantly surprised. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Paul Butterfield Blues Band.
Ooh.
Absolutely. I
Come
love
on.
them. And their first two albums I want to get on vinyl so bad. They like the original prints back in like few years ago were just impossible to come across. So now they've re-released them, so
Yeah,
you can find them, but they're like $40 each.
so it looks
Butterfield was a hired gun for Bob Dylan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Looks like this is maybe from '86. But yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. So that was one that I just took a chance on and was pleasantly surprised. I do like a lot of blues rock music, especially some of the more harmonica type stuff. And I believe that's what he played, was the harmonica.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think a couple of the guys in the band played with or in Howlin' Wolf's band, which he's one of my favorite blues guys.
Well, the guitarist is Mike Bloomfield.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's the hired gun for Bob. I was mixing up my
Right. Yeah.
But if you can look up a picture of Butterfield's harmonicas, he had the coolest looking harmonicas. It was a skull, and then each one of the teeth of the harp was like a finger from the hands, if I recall.
Oh, cool.
He had really cool harmonicas.
Yeah, so this is the only record of theirs that I've ever listened to, I've ever heard. Anything else you'd recommend?
The second one, East West, that's another fantastic one. It's a little more psychedelic.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a great one. And then there is another one I only had a digital copy of it though, and I can't remember the name of it. But pretty much anything that he did with Bloomfield was definitely worth picking up.
Right on.
For sure.
Okay, so this other record here is by Johnny Thunders. If you don't know, or if you're not familiar with Johnny Thunders, he was a guitar player for the New York Dolls, which was a New York proto-punk rock band, glam rock band. Are you guys familiar with the New York Dolls at all?
Not really.
Okay.
I know of them.
Yeah, they're more famous for kind of their image, I'd say, more than like. I mean, they're definitely an influential band, but they dress up in drag and stuff. But Johnny Thunders was a guitar player from that band. He left the Dolls and formed. It was Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, and that was definitely more punk rock, like the '77 era sounding punk rock stuff. But this was his first solo record called So Alone, and this is a great record. This still has kind of a punk rock edge to it, but a little bit more kind of rock and roll feel to it. Like the first track is Pipeline, which is a cover of an old surf song, and he does a Shangri-La's cover on this called A Great Big Kiss too. But my favorite song off of this is a song called You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory. And Bob Dylan was quoted as saying that he wished he had written that song. So if you want to get an idea kind of what Johnny Thunders sounds like, check out You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory. He heavily into heroin, kind of a tragic story. He died in 1991. I actually didn't even know he lived that long. I thought he died sooner. Kind of an interesting story around how he died. They found him dead in a hotel room in New Orleans, and they just assumed that he died of a drug overdose. But there's some theory saying that he was actually killed and not didn't die of a drug overdose. But they kind of they're saying that the cops just saw an old junkie that they just assumed that he was died of an overdose. But this album is excellent. There's a great documentary that is called "Searching for Johnny Thunders," and that is, I believe, it's been on Prime. I still think it's on there. It's a good one to check out too. But yeah, Johnny Thunders. I'd highly recommend this record.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, he was basically kind of tried to model himself after Keith Richards. Like he wanted to be Keith Richards. But yeah, good songwriter. Just
Bob was also credited as saying that quote about Love Gun as well. So
okay,
yeah, just to bring it all back.
More bandana action happening there. I see.
What?
Now we've moved to Ascot. Who are you, Fred from Scooby Doo?
Anything to get the subs. Deke says Guns did that as cover by Thunders on Spaghetti Incident.
Oh, did they? Oh. Okay, I haven't heard that Spaghetti Incident song or that record in years, so I probably haven't. Last time I heard that record, I probably had no idea who Johnny Thunders was.
I wonder if Spaghetti Incident's actually worth going back and trying to listen to.
I think it's just a bunch of cover songs, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been about. I think I listened to it once in the 90s. Somebody spun it for me, and I was like, never listened to it again.
Okay, Kevin.
I'm up again. Wow.
Sounds like Bandy's taking a break.
This is flying by. All right. Okay. Well, this is one I just picked up recently.
How come you guys don't have old beat up records? I'm the only guy showing the shit.
I had my Kansas record ready to go, and you ruined that for me. And then I did. Okay, and my next record is a beat up old record. How's that?
Okay.
Good. So this one I just picked up. We actually saw this person live and in concert. She was opening for the Raconteurs, and I put her. I enjoyed what I saw, so I put her albums in my Amazon wish list. And this was like a few months ago. Finally, her first album went down in price, so I picked up Olivia Jean Bathtub Love Killings. This is her first album. So she's kind of like I don't know, she's kind of like some of her songs has that surfer beat to it.
Very.
Yeah, it's like they're like a rock, like throwback rock band. But yeah, it's good stuff. I enjoyed it. She does all her own singing and songwriting. This came out in 2014 originally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she was good live, and it translates well onto the vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so last episode, I think it was last one, we were talking about Bruce Springsteen, or maybe it was the one before that. I can't remember. But there's only a few Bruce Springsteen albums in my collection. Actually, Sarah does have Tunnel of Love in there too. I'm not a big fan of that one, but this one I am a big fan of. That is The River.
Yeah,
this is a good one.
The River.
Yeah. Got those guys on the back. So I've always enjoyed this one. This one's just more of him. I don't know. It just seems more personable. But it's got the two albums in there with they're in sleeves. It's in really good shape. Hardly been played at all. You got no gatefold, but you got all like the inserts in that. So that's kind of cool too. There you go. All that artwork and stuff in there.
Yeah.
It's cool. So I've always enjoyed this one. It was good to get it in my collection officially. So I picked this one up at a record show not too long ago. That's original copy.
Yeah, good shape.
Yep. And getting back to that website, Music Vaults. This one wasn't made by them. But it is made by a Canadian company, and this company was going back and reissuing a lot of Rush albums and actually packaging them into these little box sets and combining them with a couple of live shows. So I Picked up 2. This was last or the Boxing Day before that or whatever. But I'll show the other one another time. But this one, I'll show you this time. This one is the Farewell to Kings.
Nice.
Big box set. This is the one with Xanadu on it. It's really good, good album. But it's like a cool set. It's like an album, and it opens up.
It has the original recording of Farewell to Kings on it.
Yeah, so it has Farewell to Kings. That's on. That's one LP. I'll just try to show the insides here. And then there's a live show from their concert tour at the time. They also have a book in there with all your photos and lyrics and a little bit of story and that. So these are pretty cool sets. You know, I got them. I think I got this one and the other one for $40-ish, which I didn't think was bad at all, considering there was 3 LPs in there. You get a platter.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
In there.
Can you hold that up again?
It's just a felt one, you know.
Yeah,
but cool, you know, I'd like to get a cork one at some point, but I don't know if I really.
I do have a cork one. I got one recently.
Have you noticed a difference, like with the cork? Like, is it help at all? Or?
Maybe a little bit, maybe of this, not as staticky sometimes, but yeah, I haven't noticed a difference.
So they were all 180 gram records in there, and I think they were all just black. Yeah, just black ones in there. And it came with the download codes and all that too, so you can bring them into the car easier. Yeah, this set was the other set was a little bit nicer. The Hemispheres one's a lot more color in the other one. This one's a little bit duller, but still really good. You get the live show. It's live at Hammersmith Odeon, February 20th, 1978. And yeah, this is the one too. So side 8. So side 1 and 2 is the album. 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7 is this live show. And then side 8 is all covers by modern bands covering.
Okay.
And it's a bit of a mixed bag. So you have Dream Theater doing Xanadu.
Okay.
And it is awesome when they start off. It's like, wow, this sounds really great. They did it. And then the guy starts singing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
that band, like those guys are such crazy, crazy good musicians, but I just can't stand that band.
I'm the singer. It's the singer. He just does not do it for me.
Like that drummer, Mike Portner, that guy is insane. And it's fun to watch some of his videos of just him drumming, but that band as a band, I just I can't. That singing is brutal.
Yeah. So then there's a couple of Canadian bands. Closer to the Heart's done by Big Wreck, who I think is out from Nova Scotia. Cinderella Man is by the Trues. Madrigal is by Alan Jonas. I'm not sure who that is. And Cygnus
Brothers, right?
That's the cousin.
Could be. And Cygnus X2 is done by a band called AEH, which might be the Rush guys messing around. It might be. It's like their sense of humor. So I don't know. I should look that up sometime and find out if that is them messing around. But there you go. So that's from that Music Vault's website as well.
$40, man. That's a deal.
Yeah, it was a Black Friday sale. I think they were $90. So they had this one and the Hemispheres one for $40.
There was 4 records in that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't think that was bad at all. That was like
that's cheap.
Yeah. So I would definitely recommend checking out that site, especially during Black Friday.
What's the shipping on that?
I don't. If it was anything, it wasn't much. It might have been like $10. But I think because we're in Canada and they're shipping from Canada, I'm pretty sure it was free. But you got to pay taxes. You got to pay taxes, of course. But
yeah,
other than that, I'm pretty sure. I have to go and look back. But I remember, I mean, that covered a Christmas. You know, for like that one year, it was just like, okay, Christmas is covered. It was Black Friday. I was like, okay, we're good. We're good for Christmas.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's cool, man. Music Vaults.
Yeah.
I gotta look that up next time I'm at work. Okay. I'm still in the J's if you're following along. What we're
Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson. That's JA. I think there's something ahead of that. Well, maybe not. So if you've just come on board here, what we're doing is going through the record shelves with some big time special guests who you've seen. I started at Z. I'm working my way back. I'm stuck in the J's right now. Uh-oh. There's a Rogue K in here.
Carole King again? You got 2 copies? My goodness. I wish I would have known that. I would have went to your house to grab the instead of buying one for myself and one for my mom.
I think I recall though that this is actually different, and that's why I kept it. This is a completely different texture than the other album I showed you. Like the other album is more cardboardy, has more texture, like a tapestry. And the record inside looks the same though, but that must be why I kept it. It must have different whatchamacallit numbers.
Serial numbers?
Produced by Lou Adler.
Yes.
Lou Adler, who of course go ahead.
He's in the play. He's very prominent in the play. He's a big character.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
I was going to say he brought Cheech and Chong to the big screen.
He brought a lot of he's the one that got her to go out. Like she was writing in New York and all that, and he's the one that got her out to LA, which gave her the headspace to make an album like Tapestry.
There's the J's.
Oh, nice.
Greatest hits.
Funk 49. That's all you need right there.
This is a two disco apparently. A little bit of Joe Walsh.
Does it have any of his solo stuff on there, or just no Rocky Mountain Way?
No, this should just strictly be James Gang stuff. From Dynaflex. This is in 1973 ABC Records. Yeah, on Dynaflex. So, yeah, that's cool. And I don't know if you guys recall, I did mention at one time that they did this radio show on Sirius with Paul Schaefer. Him and Joe Walsh just sitting around one had a guitar, the other guy was sitting on the piano, and they were just talking about the old days, playing the tunes. Look that up if you can find it. Waylon and Willie. I guess because it's Waylon Jennings. Get it? That's why we're in the J's here.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have saw some of this in the Willie section too.
I remember you pulling that album out back in the day.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
That's what I was saying. What are you talking? Waylon and Willie? That sounds ridiculous.
And this is a textured cover. It's embossed. It's pretty cool. The boys look cool on there. Of course, mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. And that reminds me, the other record I pulled out for you guys in the Willie section, the Red-Headed Stranger. I didn't show you on the back. There's like a comic strip in the back of the tail of the Red-Headed Stranger. It's RCA Victor Records. So it's got some scratchies on it, but it's not too shabby.
I wonder if Conan O'Brien's ever just on YouTube and he's just flipping through and he accidentally sees a thumbnail of this and he just sees himself. And he's like, what the hell is this? Why am I in this?
And he's never mentioned.
No.
This is all Waylon.
Nice. That's a good record.
Sweet Caroline. Belle of the Ball. Medley of Elvis hits on there.
Like Sweet Caroline, like what's his name? Neil Diamond? Sweet Caroline?
Must be. This could be all covers. I don't know.
Lucille? I might be a. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille?
This album also available on stereo 8 and cassette.
8-track. Right on.
And Willie does appear on this record as well. Again on Victor Records RCA. This one's in immaculate shape. Just beautiful.
Willie was just on Bill Maher a couple of weeks ago.
I saw that, yeah. We'll go back a little bit further. Just Waylon.
Short hair.
You don't mess with that guy.
No, I wouldn't.
Do not mess with that guy. What's this got on it? Heartaches by the Number, Tiger by the Tail, Folsom Prison Blues. Don't think he wrote that. Distributed by Pickwick Records of Canada. That's a sticker on there. Otherwise, Dynaflex Records. No slipcover in there. RCA Camden. All right. Did that whale you out?
Yeah.
Okay, Big Bandy, get the whaling out of our mouth. What do you got for us?
Well, I got Music Man by Waylon Jennings.
Oh,
Nice.
right on.
I love Waylon Jennings. I do like a lot of 70s era country music. Waylon is my favorite.
Yeah.
His guitar playing, the tone, the sound. Kevin, you'll appreciate this record. Do you know what track is on?
Just the good old boys?
Yep.
Right on.
Dukes of Hazzard was on this. But oh my gosh, this Nashville Women, such a good song. Every song on this, really. This might be my favorite Waylon Jennings record. But yeah, this is a great record. Came out in 1980 on RCA. This is the time period, that late 70s era. Waylon Jennings is my favorite. Yeah, if you've never heard the track Nashville Women, oh, it's so good. Yeah, check this record out. Waltz Across Texas, that's another great song too.
So is it live or is it?
No.
Oh, okay. Just
Studio album. Yeah.
cover
The photo.
cover live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that him in every one of the letters, or is?
Yeah, that is him. Yep.
That's very 70s as well. Different angles.
I always loved that Waylon logo too. And
That's
actually,
awesome, man.
there was a kid who was a grade lower than me in school who his name was Waylon Jennings. Yep. And sticking with some of the 70s country, check out this suit.
Wow.
Joe Jones. I am what I am.
God damn it.
Yeah, look how big that lapel is.
Would Joe let me get away with wearing that shirt to work?
I think you can hold on.
No.
Yeah.
Look at that. White.
Yeah, I know I could.
Get a couple. You can get a couple pinky rings.
That's brave though to have no belt with that pants. Like that's just...
Yeah. Yeah, I could see those polyester pants slipping off real quick. So this has He Stopped Loving Her Today. This was kind of like his comeback record. He was, heavy into drugs and drinking at this stage in his career, and this was kind of like his career was starting to kind of wane a little bit, but this record came out and this kind of put him back on top.
Yeah, that song was huge.
Yeah, I've aged 20 years and 5. That's another great song. But Bone Dry, that's the last track on there. That's another great song. But yeah, George Jones, No Show Jones. It's good stuff. He's got a great voice too.
I'm trying to think what documentary I was watching where they talked about how bad it got for him.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what I was.
yeah. He was pretty notorious for not coming to shows and showing up late or just not showing up at all.
Oh, it might have been that Ken Burns documentary on country music that was on PBS. Did you guys check that out?
No, I'd like to see that though.
Yeah, it was excellent. And that's where I recalled those George Jones stories.
So I got one more record here for you by a current artist he's from Tennessee. His name is Tyler Childress. I highly recommend this record. He is probably, I don't know, he's in his 20s. He's singer-songwriter type stuff too, but kind of with an Americana feel. It's really good. This record was produced by Sturgill Simpson. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's another current artist who kind of was championing some of that throwback country sound that was coming out of Nashville like five so years ago. But so he produced this record and he plays on a couple songs too. But yeah, Purgatory by Tyler Childress. I think you guys would like this. It's really good. So, I recommend that.
Americana, you say?
Yeah, it's not so much twangy country. It's a little more like Americana type stuff.
Almost Grateful Dead-ish?
No, not so jammy.
Acoustic Grateful Dead?
It's electric. There's some acoustic tracks, but it's more of a country feel to it.
Okay. All right, Kevin. What you got? Give me some more new records.
How are we doing for time? Should I get into this Led Zeppelin box set yet, or should I save that for the next round, or what do you say, boss?
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Okay. So yeah, this is Song Remains the Same. This was another one I put in the Amazon wish list, and I waited and I said if it goes under $100, I'll pick it up. And I think this was the same year that I did that big Black Friday purchase from Music Vault. So this was a Christmas thing as well. So I guess technically this is Sarah's because I gave it to her. But inside, we got a code. Oh, I better keep that. I need that code. Got like a book that you would get from the tour, Japan.
Oof.
Japanese.
Saw that bulge.
Now I'll save that for later too. Then you get a nice little print. The thing that you're supposed to put in. I guess I could do that at some point. It also has a number. This was a numbered set of 30,000. So this is number 7709 of 30,000. So I'm in the first half.
Oh. Yeah, that's super rare, dude.
Yeah, super rare, man.
30,000. Wow.
Yeah, one of 30,000 for a big box set like this. You know that it's so you got a nice big book. And
is this part of the Jimmy Page remastered ones that he did?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I know he remastered the BBC stuff. I don't know if he remastered this.
Like they were pumping out all their albums as those big remastered boxes.
No, I'm not sure. I don't know. But I just wanted, like, this was such a good, like, for the longest time, there wasn't any audio version of this. You could only listen to the music from watching the film. So I always wanted just the music from it because there's like Kashmir Live on here. It's just, oh my God, it's so good compared to the studio stuff's good, but the live stuff's just great.
Yeah.
But it has like this nice, all these inserts had this nice, like, it feels like leather. You know, it's not leather, but it's got like this little pattern in it. It's probably not showing up on camera.
Oh, rub it on your cheek.
I don't want to get my greasy beard on there.
But there was a soundtrack album of this, right? I remember having that.
I remember there were bootleg ones. I think
No, I had a real thing.
a real one.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
kind of
Maybe
cassette.
But
Because
yeah,
that's all I would listen to was Kashmir, and Song Remains the Same. We're just
Yeah.
killer on that.
So it came with all the entire thing on vinyl. It's a four disc set, and then it also came with it on like the CDs are in there too. So you got the CD and the DVD of the show as well in here. So there's like 4 discs.
Was that movie? Did that have like little like vignettes?
Mm-hmm.
To,
Yeah,
like,
that was a very 70s thing to do as well.
yeah, I
And,
just remember like Bonham being dressed as a gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a very like they were doing like really it was the Beatles, you know, with the and then everybody was just kind of copying. They were all trying to do different things, and that video was like a new medium for music, and yeah, they were just trying different stuff. But that's the one that what was that movie? Almost Famous. They kind of make fun of Jimmy Page's or not Jimmy Page's. Does anyone remember Laughter? Who the heck said what's it? Robert Plant.
Yeah.
Says that in the middle of Stairway to Heaven, right? So, yeah, that's it from the set. I try to pull these all up, but they're not. This one kind of they're just little CDs and DVDs and stuff. That's all they are. But they all have these all have that nice leather feel too. It's a very leather feeling set.
So it came with the DVD, not the Blu-ray.
No, yeah, it was a DVD, not the Blu-ray. But I do have the Blu-ray of the show. It was weird. Like I had a DVD of it, an old DVD of the show for the longest time, and then we were out at a thrift store. I found a special edition on DVD for like $2, so I ended up picking that up. And then the Blu-ray came out for like $10 on Amazon or something. I ended up picking that up, and then this set came out. It was all like within the span of a month. I think I bought this album like 3 or 4 times over. It was just the way it worked out, the way it shook out. But
yeah, my Blu-ray was like super cheap. Just walking through Walmart, saw it for like $5 or something. Like,
it's great, and it's it's a fantastic show.
Oh, it is an amazing show.
Yeah,
and man or woman, you want to get into the sack with Robert Plant during that.
Well,
he just exudes sex appeal through that.
I'll let you have him. I'm more of a John Paul Jones guy.
Really,
he's the magic man, the thing. I like seeing him work those keys.
Yeah,
and he aged the best too.
True. Deke saying those fantasy scenes he thinks are pretty high. They are outrageous. The opening scene though that Big Bandy was talking about with the gangster and the shooting up the room, it's like super violent too. Like very violent. So
they must have been inspired by The Godfather.
Yeah. So but yeah, you're right. That's the only drawback in that movie is same with the Grateful Dead movie. You get right into the tunes and then they break away to these vignettes and the tune goes way in the background. You're like, why?
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, Kevin.
Yep.
I'd like that. Yep. I'd like that set too.
Yeah. You should get it.
Does anyone know who this is?
Oh, is that Bark? That's not Captain Beefhead, is it? Or Beefheart? No.
Yeah, the trout mask replica. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. But we're not in the seas, so.
Yeah. Did Deke get it? Nothing.
No.
Throwing him off. I had to look to remember what it was. Jefferson Airplane.
Oh, really?
Jefferson Airplane. Yeah. Or as Zappa called them, Jefferson Hair Pie.
Okay. Why not?
So, yeah, this is wild stuff. What you can do with the bag. It's got instructions. Can take it to the store, hang it on the door. All kinds of instructions here. Keeps going. On Dynaflex again, Grunt. There's the record. What is on here? When the earth moves again, feels so good. Pretty as you feel, Wild Turkey. Grace Slick, man. She was a looker back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know anything from that. I've never seen this album at all.
Yeah.
Before.
No one listened to the Airplane?
No, not really.
Big
We
in the
built
San
this-
Francisco scene. I'm not saying Jefferson Starship.
Yeah. They
That
built it on rock and roll.
We pretend that never existed. The Starship.
I like that song. I don't know what's wrong with people. It's a fine song.
That's kind of a cool album.
Thanks, Deke. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks, Deke.
He gets up early, that guy. Like me.
Man, I love this. You gotta hit pause on this if you're watching it to read all that. It's fun stuff.
What are they talking about? That's what you're supposed to do with that bag?
Yeah. Use it as a mouth gag, sell it as a boat, pretend it's your throat. Oh, it rhymes too.
I see.
So
This might be the dope thing that Deke was talking about before.
I never knew the Airplane as being a funny kind of band. So this is interesting to me.
Didn't they did the Alice song, didn't they? That was them, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so there you go. They're all about the dope.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're with the Grateful Dead, playing at the Fillmore, all that business. There's some more Jefferson Airplane for you.
That's more classic stuff. Going further back.
Yeah. She has funny cars. Somebody to Love. That's their
a
big one.
Yeah.
And White Rabbit's on here too. So this is
There
pretty
you
big.
go.
This is the album to have if you're
That's it.
looking
Get that
for their
And the Starship, get that one too.
No, do not.
Yes.
Starship never existed.
Get that Starship in you. Come on.
This. Oh. The record sleeve says it's made in England. I wonder if it's just the sleeve. And there's a big warning on this bag. Whereas the other bag, they said to do all the funny stuff too. RCA Victor. Oof, this is in rough shape. Look at that.
Might need a cleaning. A lot of fingerprints, it looks like, on there.
There's a lot of scratches on this. Been very well played. Made in Canada. Oh my God.
Oh no. Rest in peace. It's done. It's already dead, Bill. It's already dead.
Jesus
Let it die.
Christ.
There's a big groove in there. It looked like someone tried to put that in their Xbox 360.
Wow.
Look at that.
But the cover is like still got the shrink wrap on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it has this beautiful anti-static slip sleeve in here. That makes no sense. Is this even the right record? Yeah, surrealistic pillow. Like this is mint. This has the original shrink wrap on it.
Yeah, someone might have put their record sleeves in a closet somewhere, and then they take their records out in a book. They bring them to parties, and they get wrecked.
Yeah. Jesus Christ! Did you see the back? That's on the back.
That's nice.
Well,
That's
I
too bad.
can't really throw it out because it's mint. The cover's mint.
You got to find a disc somewhere, maybe on Discogs.
This is where you could go to Brian's Records in Kingston. He would have 1 billion copies of this, and he wouldn't mind if you swapped out.
Yeah.
All right. Should I let Big Bandy go again?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to stick a little bit of psychedelica,
All right.
but one older band, one new band. I just picked this up not too long ago. I've only listened to it a handful of times, but it is The Magician's Birthday by Uriah Heep. Are you guys familiar with this band at all?
I don't know
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah.
Not me.
Is that that's what was their big song? Easy Livin'?
Easy Livin', yeah.
Yeah. Is that on there?
No, this is not on there. Yeah, no, that was off of. Trying to think, I can't remember the name of that record, but
Yeah.
this was like 1974. It'll be kind of proggy, pre-heavy metal. This band it did influence a bunch of heavy metal bands.
Who's the personnel on there?
Their guitarist was somebody that went on to.
Let's see, Mick Box is the Mick Box and Ken Hensley.
Oh yeah, the Box Man. I remember him.
Yeah, but no, this is from '72. So this record and the Demons and Wizards, those are pretty like sought after, or the ones you want to get. But I've only listened to this a handful of times. It's okay. But yeah, got cool artwork on it. And then this is a current band from the UK. Name of this band is called Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. So this band here is like if you'd mix Alice Cooper, Black Sabbath, and the Stooges, and you get Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. It's kind of low fidelity type stuff, a lot of heavy fuzz, but yeah, it's really catchy, good hooks and stuff. This is a repress. It had been on my want list for quite a while. I picked this up a couple months ago. It was getting pretty pricey, but luckily this record label, Rise Above, they usually do kind of small print runs on some of their first newer artists. But this is again one of those records that I love it when they'll do like a color vinyl that matches the album art. Yeah. So this band has a couple different records. This was their first full length. After this record, I haven't really listened to much of their stuff. It gets a little bit too weird for me. But this is Bloodlust. I'd recommend checking that out. It's a good one. A lot of distortion, just heavy fuzz. And then this is their not really their first album, but it's kind of a collection of some of their demo tapes, and I believe this one it was all done by just the one guy, which I don't know what his name is, but I think he recorded all the instruments himself on this one here. I think you can actually even hear at one point you can hear one of the music stands falling over.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a good one too. This is a little more raw, not heavy, but like I don't know if you can kind of see. Get some sparkly vinyl in there.
Ooh, nice.
Pretty looking. Yeah, this Rise Above, they always do a really good job of their album layouts and stuff. But yeah, Uncle Acid and Deadbeats, kind of a weird band. But yeah, I think they're good.
And did you say that's an import? You had that?
Yeah, this is an import. I didn't import it. My local record shop just buys this Rise Above records are out of England. So yeah, Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats.
Cool. Big Bandy with the wild, weird, crazy stuff. Well, Kevin, are you all wrapped up, dude?
I got a few more to show if you want, or if you want to wrap it up. And go either way.
Let's get to the 2-hour mark.
Okay. Well, I mean, really, what else? Well, I got. I picked this up recently. I'm trying to complete my Iron Maiden collection. So this one finally dipped in price. It's Seventh Son of the Seventh Son.
Nice.
This one has Seventh Son of the Seventh Son on it, and Can I Play with Madness are the two big tracks on there. But it's just great artwork on the Iron Maiden albums. Just great. Kind of disappointed there wasn't a gatefold on it, because but they didn't disappoint with the insert anyways.
Oh, nice.
It's really nice stuff.
Yeah, I don't have that record.
It's nice picking up the reissues. I don't mind, because it's good quality. Like, it's just really nice stuff,
Yeah, I've been meaning to pick up the Killers and the self-titled.
Yeah, those two are on my list as well. And I think this one will probably be the last one I'll get on vinyl chronologically.
Is that before or after Fear of the Dark?
This one is before, and then Fear of the Dark. I mean, to me, that one wasn't very good, and then they did that stuff with Blaze, which, and when they came back, I mean, I got them on CD, and I don't know, I'm kind of good with that. This is a bit of an underrated Judas Priest album. This one, I think this is when they really first just started to become. I don't know, like Judas Priest kind of always, every time they come out with an album, it's always just a little bit different. There's always a little different flavor to them. And this one, it's not my favorite Judas Priest album, but it's my favorite era. Like the tone that they went for with this one. This is Stained Glass.
Oh, nice.
This was their one that came out like just before they really got big with Killing Machine or Hellbent for Leather, depending on what area you're in. And then they did British Steel, and they were doing all that kind of pop stuff in it, which I like. I like all their poppy metal stuff, but this is like their influential metal album. This is the one that like the leather and whips and chains and stuff. But yeah, this one's just great. It's got Exciter on it, White Heat, Red Hot, Stained Glass. It's just a great song. Invader. It's good stuff.
There's a record store. I don't know if it's in Toronto or somewhere in that area. It's either Stained Glass Records or Stained Class Records. But I think it might be in the Toronto area.
I'm not sure. I go to Cops. I can't remember the name of the other one.
Rotate This.
No, I haven't been to that one.
Holy smokes! Steven Eider just popped in here with a headliner news. Headline: He's broken the top news story of the day here.
What's that?
According to him, the Start to Continue YouTube channel is now at 300 subs.
Wow!
That's right. 300. Thanks everyone for hitting that sub button.
It should be double that.
We're almost not only double.
Yeah, it's still criminal. It's still criminal.
Anything above 600 is that's too much. Should scale it back down.
There's only one goal for a sub count, and we're not there yet. So let's keep it going.
What's the goal for your sub count?
To get above another YouTube channel that criminally has more.
He produces for a very niche market and a lot of content. If you put a lot of content, you get up there in the algorithm.
Dude, how many hours of content has this channel pumped out a week?
Need videos. You need lots and lots and lots of videos. That's the only way.
Bill, I was going to ask you when you were going to start My Life in Thrifting.
Yeah, later on this year, it's happening for sure. The thrift store's got to open. But yeah, or I'm going to have a news feed. I'm going to talk about news you can't get anywhere else.
Can you believe there's not an E3 this year?
What? Holy, where did you learn that?
I don't know. I picked it up somewhere.
Anyways, thanks for joining us, Stephen. Glad to see you popping in for the show. Was that it for you, Kevin? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I just had I was just going to show these. We were talking about the Alice Cooper albums.
Yes.
And these are the cheap ones that I picked up. You can pick them up for $5. They're not the best Alice Cooper albums, but for a few. This one's Zipper Catches Skin. Look at that man back there. He was drinking heavily, and it shows. But I don't know. It's just I don't know. They're good, cheap fun. They're, sorry. But, yeah. It's good stuff. Stop hitting that.
Boing.
I got Flash of the Fashion. Alice Cooper 80. Not the best albums, but
I've never even seen that one.
Yeah. I
picked these up. They were having a flash sale at my local store in Newmarket, and I didn't pay very much for these at all. I think I figured it out. It was around $4 a piece, but I bought a bunch of stuff. But he had $14 written on here. Very good plus. But when I went up there, he was just like, just give me $45 for all these. And, so I think I paid like $4 for each of them. But yeah, they're good, cheap fun. That's what I'm trying to say. If you're looking for some rock and roll in your collection and, good stuff. That's it. That's all I
That's it. Those two. I have one of those weird ones on cassette. I've been trying to sell it for like 2 years and no one's buying it. I can't remember which one it is.
Yeah. You if it's one of these ones, like you're not going to sell them for too much.
Well, it's rare and obscure. People should
look at Elvis. I got Elvis. I should have brought those. I'll try to remember for the next time. I got Elvis picture discs, and they look beautiful. Yeah. They're gorgeous, and I think they're UK imports. Nobody wants them. Nobody.
All right, I can get back going here. We were in the J's, but I came across an I.
Iron Butterfly, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Now that's a band that can make a song go for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Side 2.
That's
all one song there.
That's the only way to listen to it. On vinyl, taking up the entire side.
I had a buddy back in the day, and at his house he had an actual Hammond organ.
Oh, nice.
And I would throw this on and just bang away at that organ during the entire track. And any note you hit on the Hammond sounds like it fits in perfect.
Yeah.
in Agata Davida. You feel like a master.
My dad used to fix them for churches, and they'd come in. Like he'd fix like that big drum that would
the
spin.
Leslie?
Yeah, like the Leslie speakers where they'd spin around inside. Wild stuff.
There's no sleeve in that. Yeah, if you get a hold of a Leslie nowadays, you'd be doing all right.
Oh, yeah. Well, they had many hours on these. These were church organs that were used for.
So yeah, Inagata Davida. That is the shit right there.
Nice.
Okay, we should probably end, eh? Do you think so?
Well, we're at the 2 hour mark. It's up to you.
Yeah, my next artist here has a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I'll just preview for the next episode.
Oh, nice. Very
so
good.
That'll start off the next episode. Still in the J's. We got a female artist who's in the J's, if you didn't catch the picture there. And then a very famous man after that who played the guitar.
Still in the J's?
No.
No.
What comes before the J's?
Oh, okay.
Well, this has been fun as usual. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Thanks guys for joining us on this episode of the Vinyl Collection. It's turned into a big, huge thing with a massive audience that I can only thank you guys.
At least 300 people watch this one, right?
Potentially 300 people.
Yeah.
We had a live audience of, it got up to 2. So It was very exciting at some points here. Yeah. Yeah. And then Steven Eider came on to finish us off. He must have heard that I was talking about him earlier, right?
Oh, yeah. That's his ears ring, and he immediately shows up.
Because, this was off the air. I didn't hit record yet. I was telling Big Bandy. I was in a Walmart looking for a transformer, and then the next day I slept until noon. I was pretty much turning into Steven Eider. All right, so the vinyl collection. This has been episode 4. We'll come back for episode 5 next time. Hopefully, will I have you big stars with me next time?
Yeah, I think so. I'm off next week, so anytime you want to record, I'm ready to go.
Okay, yeah, I think next week I'm only working 2 overnights, so there should be lots of time in there.
Great.
Big Bandy, what about you?
I'm good for next week. I actually start back to work. My clinic is opening next week, but I'm only working two days out of the week and only half days. So
nice.
Slowly starting to get back into it.
Does anyone know what you do for a living? Is that out there? Is that public knowledge?
Yeah, I work in healthcare. I am a physical therapist. So yeah.
Nice. I would have thought more holistic with crystals.
Putting rocks on people's backs. Yeah. Hot rocks.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you guys so much for joining me on this and showing your sparkling brand new mint records. Maybe next week you can rough them up a little bit for me. Don't make me feel so bad.
Uriah Heep record was not Uriah. Yeah, it was Uriah. That was a little beat up.
Okay, sure.
I'll have to pull out some records from Sarah's side of the collection then if you want to see some beat up stuff.
Oh, what's that say?
She's got a lot of beat up stuff over there. She picks up a lot of trash from the 80s. I mean, trash in a good way, of course.
Yeah, for sure. And to all of the people that tuned in, thanks so much for joining us for 2 hours on this show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you catch it the next time we stream. We'll be doing this. I don't know if you caught my little side project earlier this week where I went through the Bob Dylan bootleg CDs. That was a big hit. We still got to do another one of those. But it'll be multiple artists that time, the next time, because I think the next shelf of that is all multiple artists. There'll still be some Bob in there, but there'll be other stuff. And of course, the STC podcast streams on this channel as well. Yeah, it's a secret when that happens for some reason. So you'll have to really subscribe to find out when that happens. But thanks again, Kevin. You can look for him on Twitter at Buried on Mars, and he has a podcast, Retro Fandango, has a new episode out today or yesterday.
And we're back on YouTube. Check that out.
I see that. Yeah, he's got a big YouTube thing going.
Yeah,
very good episode. The Film Dango on YouTube. I enjoyed it very much. And Matt Bandy, what's happening in your neck of the woods?
Not a whole lot.
There you have it, folks.
You're looking at it.
That's it.
Just go and follow Big Bandy over at Twitter. Are you on the Instagram too?
Yeah, I am on Instagram.
Well, look for Matt Bandy on Instagram too. If you've seen the stuff he showed today, he's got wild stuff on those social medias. Check that out. And thanks everyone for showing up in the chat. We'll see you next time.
Bye.